Let's begin this newscast with live visuals streaming in from Hong Kong, where anti-government protests in Hong Kong are holding. The protesters are holding a mass rally as they face down increasingly stern warnings from China over weeks-long unrest that has plunged the city into crisis. Today's protests that you can see on your screens are taking place in one of the most densely populated districts of Hong Kong, that is Mong Kok. The semi-autonomous southern Chinese financial hub has seen 2 months of protests and clashes triggered by opposition to a planned extradition law that quickly evolved into a wider movement for democratic reforms. Thousands of Hong Kong protesters have gathered in Mong Kok, a working-class district that has previously seen dramatic clashes between police and protesters. Police initially denied activists permission to march through the neighborhood, but later allowed it after an appeal. It's important to understand Mong Kok, which is one of the most crowded places in the world, with population densities of about 130,000 people per square kilometers. Now, the official protest route is expected to skirt the main residential and shopping areas. An influx of thousands could pose difficulties for protest planners and police. It's no surprise why shopkeepers decided to shut down their shops. The entire city seems to be on a shutdown. This is a densely populated district. The district has been shut down, taking into consideration these massive protests taking place. Let's not forget, this is the 9th consecutive weekend which is seeing extremely inflammatory protests being taken place, and they are also making news for police brutality, which has been inflamed by the use of rubber bullets and allegations of excessive force. Ugly incidents have also taken place where dozens of men, some with ties to organized crime, were even beating protesters. They were supposed to be the Triad, which is also said to be a proxy group by China. And let's not forget, these protests are taking place to curb Beijing's growing influence over Hong Kong. And this weekend too, Hong Kong is bracing for another 9th weekend of mass demonstration. Citizens of Hong Kong are taking to the streets over a controversial extradition bill. The bill has been shelved since June, but the demonstrations have continued, throwing the city into a deepening political crisis. And with calls for democracy and universal suffrage. As far as today's protest marches are concerned, 2 marches have also been planned for Sunday. One on Hong Kong Island and the other in the Siu Kwan O district. Protesters have been gathering in Mong Kok for quite some time now. Many are comparing these protest marches to the umbrella movement of 2014, which saw similar pro-democracy calls during protests. The last few weeks, Hong Kong has been witnessing some severe back-to-back demonstrations themed with police clashes, police firing tear gas, rubber bullets to disperse large crowds as bricks were thrown at officers. Last weekend's protests did not even receive permission from the police. They were almost banned. But this weekend's rally, as you can see, in Mong Kok has finally received a last-moment permit from the police authorities. The Hong Kong protests have been taking a serious turn with China's growing intervention. It was just a few days ago that China's PLA also stated that it does not mind intervening in Hong Kong's protests as long as Hong Kong is fine with its intervention.